Why? Why the crisis?
What crisis?
Well, I'm working on that.
Blessings on top of blessings out there to all our brethren. For those who don't believe, please receive the free GIFT of salvation. We'd like to welcome you back to another episode at U.G.L.Yeshua. It's a little different here because bro Junie's not here today. He couldn't make it. So we just want to give our apologies for that. But we're going to move on with this topic that we're going to touch on, this movie called Wag the Dog. This is a movie that came out in '97. And I think with all the things that are going on today, this plays a perfect part on telling you guys what actually goes on behind the scenes. This movie is a real good movie, underrated movie, and it's really not that popular. But two of the main actors in it are Robert De Niro and Dustin Hoffman. So we're going to just review this movie today, and hopefully you guys enjoy. So let's get to it. So Jason, we spoke about this movie right here. And with all, like I said in the intro, with all the things that are actually going on, this like plays a perfect fit, and I think it gives the audience a good understanding of what goes on behind the scenes.
Right.
So I'm gonna read the movie description in its total, so that the audience has a better understanding. So, Wag the Dog is a 1997 American black comedy political satire film starring Dustin Hoffman and Robert De Niro, produced and directed by Barry Levinson. The film centers on a spin doctor and a Hollywood producer who fabricate a war in Albania to distract voters from a presidential sex scandal. The screenplay by Hilary Henkin and David Mamet is loosely adopted from Larry Benha's 1993 novel American Hero. Wag the Dog was released 1 month before the news broke of the Clinton and Lewinsky scandal and the bombing of the Al-Shifa pharmaceutical factory in the Sudan by the Clinton administration in August 1998, which promoted the media to draw comparisons between the film and reality. Almost done, guys. The comparison was also made in December 1998 when the administration initiated a bombing campaign of Iraq during Clinton's impeachment trial for the Clinton-Lewinsky scandal. It was made again in spring 1999 when the administration intervened in the Kosovo War and initiated a bombing campaign against Yugoslavia, which coincidentally bordered Albania and contained ethnic Albania. So that's just a brief rundown on the movie, Jay. We obviously they spoke about the scandal that happened with Lewinsky,
the
Clinton,
details surrounding the whole bit, right?
the wars and all the details surrounding that, right? So that was the intro. So Jay, do you want to touch on anything as far as what you just heard with that intro, or anything that you just want to give your perspective on?
Yeah, well, I mean, what's interesting is like how much ground they're able to cover with the scandal, right? And so, you're mentioning this one particular scandal. I know of another.
Yeah.
And it's to talk about when the CIA got caught, right? With their hand in the cookie jar, so to speak. What they were trying to do was to get the governments of these South American nations in line with us, right? With the U.S. And so basically installing their own leadership in these nations that exist, south of our border. Right. You know what I mean? And so, in order for them to do that, they had to create a militia, which they call the Contras, to be able to fight against the current government or powers that be. Okay. And so what they did to do this was that they had drugs being imported into the country and being sold, and taking this money, getting firearms, providing these firearms and training to the Contras, and then taking over these governments and installing the leaders or the power that they wanted set up in these nations.
Right.
So when this whole thing blew up, the CIA ended up providing like a 300-page report, or I think it was something like that. I gotta get the number on that. But anyway, provided a report that was about to be like shown to the nation. Okay. Right? And then all of a sudden, when the Clinton-Lewinsky scandal happened, it was like all the focus and attention went away from that incident.
And went to the Clinton and Lewinsky
and started focusing on them.
That's crazy.
So there's a movie about that one. It's called Kill the Messenger.
Gotcha.
Right? And so for anybody who's interested in looking into that one, that also shed some light on why that scandal, right, even came about.
Right.
So it's interesting you mentioned another one.
Right.
Because it's like,
Lewinsky.
wow.
Right.
So how many things is our government up to, right, that they need to cover up.
Right. And it's good that you said that. How many things are our government up to? This movie right here, I feel is very important because it shows you the lengths that the government and the people who are in charge are willing to go to in order to control the narrative, in order to take your eyes off of this situation and put it over here in this situation. And the lengths that they go through is stuff that we've studied already, stuff that we've known. And it's like watching this is like, oh snap. Like for them to put it in a movie step by step like this, it was real eye opening.
Right.
Because this movie Wag the Dog, to be honest, I just started recently hearing about it with this stuff going on with Charlie Kirk and the shooting and all that stuff. So I know a lot of people were like commenting on videos like, you guys got to see Wag the Dog, Wag the Dog. And I'm like, what the heck is Wag the Dog?
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
Well, you got to think, right? Like, especially when things start to happen.
Yeah.
You'll get the people from the generation that watched this movie.
No doubt, for sure.
That's really what it comes down to, where it jogged the memory of these people, and they were like, "Yo, this is a good one to show the nation, to teach the people." Right? Essentially, the reason we're even doing this episode is to be able to provide this understanding, this new way of thinking about things, right? To the people who are watching, to our brothers and sisters in Christ, to see how the nation, and Hollywood manipulates us with the news and pushes their propaganda and so on.
Absolutely.
So.
And this movie shows how things can get staged in an instance. Crisis actors can be hired ASAP in order to produce this movie. I call it a movie for a specific reason, and we'll get into that. Some of the important go ahead.
I would say explain what a crisis actor is, like as if I don't even know what that is.
Right, exactly. So when we talk about staged events, crisis actors, so staged events could be something that you would see on the TV on your news, a war happening, and you think it's real, but behind the scenes, it's really being created like a Hollywood movie. In a Hollywood movie, what is their actors? So a crisis actor are actors who may portray to be real people in real life events, but unknowingly they're just hired actors and they play these parts.
Tonight on social media, right-wing conspiracy theories going viral about David Hogg, a 17-year-old Parkland shooting survivor. The unsubstantiated claims say he's a crisis actor, a trained actor who takes advantage of tragedies for political gain.
Are you an elite? Are your staged attacks not going as planned? Are your globalist agendas failing because you're using subpar crisis actors? Well, then look no further. Hi, I'm Harrison Hanks, the ultimate crisis actor. Need a medical doctor? In 18 years as a medical examiner, I've never seen anything like it. Yeah.
Is this one over the top? Is this one different?
Yeah, it's over the top. 33 children died. You need a grieving husband? Did a right-winger set off a bomb? Bro, yeah, we're just milling about it. That had a massive explosion. Then I'm your man. Tired of melodramatic acting?
There's light away from the darkness. I'm just trying to figure out if he's okay. I lost my 20-year-old, but I had 20 years with my son.
It's just tragedy. Horror and tragedy.
Going for the guns takes subtlety, like this. I don't know how many more need to die before the president does something.
What's crazy about it is when you pay attention to a lot of these things that have been going on for years, you see kind of the same crisis actors. So you may see one crisis actor in this one event that happened 20 years ago, and then 20 years later, you see that same actor with a different name, coming from a different location, playing a different character.
Tell her fun of we lost him last night at the borderline shooting. My son was in Las Vegas out of his prison. He came home. He didn't come home last night. And I don't want prayers. I don't want talks. I want gun control, and I hope to God nobody else sends me any more prayers. But he was getting like gun control. No more guns. Thank you.
Like I felt it.
You were in shock!
Were you able to have any kind of communication with your son last night at all? Any text messages, any phone calls?
No, I called him last night at 6 o'clock. He was at SeaWorld. And I was just giving him some information that he was going to need to know for my upcoming surgery.
And I know these things may seem far-fetched, but these things do go on. And this movie right here is gonna show you guys how it really is a true thing. So we don't like to call these things movies. We like to call these documentaries because it just shows us what's really gonna happen. TV and television is a thing that the enemy, because we always like to, combine this with spirituality, you know what I'm saying, and show you how the enemy of this world works together with these people, and they create these things. They create magic, and that's why when you watch TV, what is it called? Paid programming, because they literally program us with these shows. So yeah, this is why we felt it was so important to touch on this specific movie and show you guys the depths that they're willing to go, and for you guys to open up your eyes and acknowledge that not everything you see on the television, although it may seem real, is real, and we just want to, open your spiritual eyes to that aspect. So before I mention the actors in this movie, anything else you want to throw on that?
Oh, just like how hard it is nowadays to see something with your own eyes, or think that you see something with your own eyes, and then come to find out it was AI now.
Absolutely.
It was CG, and all these things, and faith in the internet is
bro.
You don't know what to believe anymore.
Exactly.
You can't trust anything anymore.
Bro.
Are my eyes seeing reality?
Right.
Now, is this Hollywood acting? Is it computer generated?
Right.
Is it AI now?
Yep. We don't know.
So many different things.
That's why our new slogan is: you can't trust your physical eyes, trust your spiritual eyes, bro. Because
and I mean, the Lord told us,
Absolutely.
the just shall live by faith, not by sight.
Amen. That's good, bro. That's real good.
That's wild.
That's real good right there. All right, guys. So just before we move on, some of the popular characters that people may recognize that are in this movie. Obviously, we said Robert De Niro, Dustin Hoffman, Dennis Leary, Willie Nelson, the Willie Nelson. Woody Harrison. There's a bunch of other actors in this movie, but we just want to give the main ones, and we feel like people will understand who those people are. So, Jay, I want to go step by step, kind of the timeline of this movie, and we could touch on each bullet point. We don't got to spend too much time on it, but we'll go. So, obviously, we said this movie started. There's a presidential scandal going on, where the president gets caught up with a younger age woman or something like that. So this is a big thing.
Almost like a Girl Scout. He rapes a Girl Scout.
Exactly.
A firefly.
Right. So that's what happens. So in order for them to control this narrative, they hire Robert De Niro, which is a spin doctor. A spin doctor is going to be the one that comes into the situation, assesses everything, and be like, okay, this is what we need to do. This is who we need to get down with the team. These are the steps we got to follow in order to control this narrative and take the audience eyes from here to here. So they hire Robert De Niro, and this is how this problem starts.
And the president hires him directly, like by name. Like, I want this.
Right. So just goes to show, keep it in mind, we're comparing these things to actual events that happen. So just know that these people in charge, presidents, have connections to these people. And listen, when we say president in charge, we don't mean the president's in charge, because the president is just a spokesperson. He answers to people, and things come down to the president. So he's not the one in charge. So just keep that in mind. So, now, the next step that the spin doctor says is in order for us to do something with the audience, to sway them, we have to create something. So the thing that they create is a war. So they're like, we're going to create a war. And this is what's going to be the main thing that we're going to focus on right here.
We can't afford a war.
We're not going to have a war. We're going to have the appearance of a war.
We cannot afford the appearance of a war.
What'll it cost?
But they would find out.
Who's going to find out? The American people?
Exactly.
Who's going to tell them?
So, yeah, Jay, anything you want to break down when it comes to that part?
It's like, the only thing that would hold it off long enough, right? The whole world is demanding for the president to respond to these allegations.
Yeah.
And he's like hiding, right? So it was about 11 days till the election.
So, like almost 2 weeks around it. Yeah,
Right.
a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Exactly.
Yep.
So Robert De Niro was only trying to create a situation that's going to buy him enough time to cover that up.
Absolutely.
Until the election's over.
Absolutely.
Then once he's back in the chair,
We good.
right? Once he gets a second term, then they're like, all right, we'll deal with it then.
Yeah.
But he's elected.
Right,
now, you
right.
know,
So we want this guy back in the presidential office. You know what I mean? So we got to make sure we do that.
And I mean, just to show, like in the 90s, this movie showing you how these elected officials play around with the vote, you know, with the election time, and how many election seasons have we had where there was some craziness
Stuff
going on?
Right. Yep.
Every time election season comes around, it's like, you know, everything breaks down.
Yep.
You know, COVID happens. 5G's got to get rolled out.
Distraction.
You know, it's nonsense.
Distraction.
All kinds
Absolutely,
of crazy
bro.
stuff, man.
And again, as we're going through this audience, I need you to keep in mind that this is not a movie. This is a documentary. So whatever you think can't be true, play a game with us, play along, and put yourself in a position where these things can be true. And with doing that, you'll be able to break away from that false reality that you may be in. You know, we all had to break away from that. So I'm not pointing fingers at anybody.
Right.
Because people, we see things on TV, we see things come out in the news, the presidents talk about it, and we think it's like 100% accurate. But put yourself in a position of this movie, and so that you can really see with your spiritual eyes. So all right, so we got he hired the spin doctor. They create this war. Now, the next step that they do, they're like, all right, in order we created the war, now we got to put this into perspective now. So we're going to go with the staged events and the technologies that they use. So in this move, they go to the depths of hiring a producer, which we're going to talk about that next. They hire actors. They have a Hollywood studio where they have green screen. They got the technologies. They got the people in the background doing what they're doing.
Yep.
So it just
audio
shows
effects and the whole
audio
bit,
effects,
man.
everything. And this was in '97. This movie came out.
Yep.
So people at this time probably wouldn't think that we can be where we're at today with technology. But
They were doing it.
They were doing it at that time already. So I tell people, the government is 20, 30, 40, 50 years ahead of us in technology. You know, so a lot of people think like, oh, that stuff can't go on. When they give it to us, you think they're giving it to us as they get it themselves? No, they've been having it. They choose when to give it to us because it benefits them. And they'll never give it to us unless it's going to benefit them. Technology, I'm saying, you know?
Yep.
So, so they created some stage events. So Jay, before we move to the next one, you want to talk about any stage events or the things from that particular setting?
I mean, just the technology of that time.
Yeah.
The technology of that time. I mean, let's talk about like Roger Rabbit or Cool World.
Yeah.
Where you were beginning to see movies that were putting a real person on the screen interacting with cartoons.
A cartoon character, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so like try to bring yourself back to that time and like this is what we were doing already.
Yes.
What Hollywood was capable of doing. I mean, if you want to say that there's magic in this in anywhere in this world, Hollywood plays with magic.
Right,
straight
absolutely. Up. That's good. That's why they call it Hollywood, because when they talk about Hollywood, they're talking about the wood from the holly tree. And this is like what the witches and wizards would use. They would cut the tree and make their wands, their magic wands out of the holly tree.
Let's start with words we hear all the time and never even think about. Let's start with the word entertainment. To entertain. What does that mean? To bind or hold. To bind or hold what? An audience's attention. Okay. Now let's take the word Hollywood. Where does that come from? Well, Hollywood comes from the holly tree. And the ancient Druids back in the day used to take the holly tree, make wands to weave spells, cast spells, or channel spells. And when they needed help, they would consult the magi's or the mediums of the day. We'll cut to today. What do we have in our houses? We have these black boxes. What are they called? TVs. But if you stop and you say the word television, television. And when you turn on that television, what do you get? What's the first thing that pops up? A list of channels. And when you turn on those channels, what's on those channels? Programming. They are programming you. They've been programming your whole life. You don't even know it. They do it with your music. They do it with your TV. They do it with your movies. They do it with your games. They have been programming us and programming you since you were little, and you don't even know it because you don't even question.
And welcome back to another tree-tastic edition of the Witchcraft Diaries. Today we're going to be looking at the mighty holly tree. Alongside the oak tree, the holly was one of the most important trees to Druids. The holly is one of the king trees, and in our Ogham alphabet, the name for holly is Tinny. The holly was a wild vegetation god, really embodying the spirit of life. The holly leaves, with their evergreen, shining colour, evoke the energy of immortality. In fact, immortality and ever living and evergreen is some of the magic that we link with holly.
You know, so when you just go into the etymology of the words and start to look deep into it, you actually see what's going on.
That is wild.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? Hollywood, the holly tree.
Yep.
So before we move on, there's something, because you brought up the magic, and I want to show you guys, like, when you're watching movies and TV shows and they talk about things or things happen in the show that haven't happened yet, and then like a year later or months later they actually happen, you have to understand that this is all a spiritual matter. The enemy has to tell you what he's going to do before he does it. And this is one of the things that they call revelation of the method. So I'm going to read a definition of what it means. So the elites do tell us through their books and publications, movies and news releases what they are doing. This is called revelation of the method. If you are too stupid to recognize it for what it is, that is your problem from their point of view. It is a form of ritual mocking of the victim. And that's just what it is, bro. And I always use this example. One time I went to a Krauser's and I was just buying some food and I'm just waiting in line. And, you know, behind the counter, they have the cigarettes, the weed wraps and all this stuff. And they had a sign with the cigarette. And where I had the cigarettes, I had a sign. The sign said, "Buy at your own risk. Nicotine is this and it's harmful. It could this." So it's like they're telling you what to do, right. And if you choose to do it, that's on you.
Yes, exactly.
If you choose to get sick off of this product, you choose to die off of this product, it's on you.
You can't sue.
You can't sue.
Yep.
We warned you. We told you what you were getting yourself into, and you still chose to participate in it. And it's the same thing with this. Spiritually, Satan is like, bro, I was telling you in the movies what you were going to do. You chose to be deceived by it. It's up to you now.
Movie The Matrix. It's almost a Luciferian thing where they use Hollywood to laugh at us, and they use Hollywood to say, this is what we're doing. And in theory, they're supposed to tell us, and then that becomes our willing consent.
Yep. You're not listening to the spiritual things that the word is telling you. I'm talking about for believers, especially with this. You weren't listening to the spiritual aspects of testing everything, comparing it with the word, you know what I mean? So that's just what the elite do. They mock us with these things. So that's why you may watch a show or a TV or a movie and see that they tell you what's going to happen, and then it automatically happens. You're like, yo, how did they know? Could they tell the future? No, they know what they're doing. You know, they're dealing, a lot of these movie producers, they're first of all, they're down with this, with the brotherhood, with secret societies, and they communicate with principalities. So they're able to get this wisdom from there.
You know what it is? It's a priming, right? Just like you add primer to a wall before you paint so that the color stays on better.
Bro.
What these movies do is they'll put an idea out there for the people to take in.
Right.
So that when they actually bring about these events, it's not far-fetched to them.
You're already desensitized.
Right. This thing could really happen.
Right.
Oh, you know what? And then, like, when they think about what's taking place on the news, it pops in their head like, oh, yeah, this has happened. These things happen. This is a real-life thing. Why? Because the movie already conditioned you. It already primed you to receive this information.
And that happens a lot with subliminal messages in movies. It's saying, like what they're saying, they're prepping you already for years. Since we were little kids, they've been prepping us with these cartoons and these movies. So like you said, when it's
flashing images and the whole bit.
Your living room is the factory. The product being manufactured is you.
I didn't see anything but a lot of racing cars.
Well, that's the whole idea, Lieutenant. You don't see it with your eye. You see it with your subconscious mind. That's why it's called subliminal. Look.
I'll be a son of a gun. See, that thing makes you hungry just to look at it.
Yeah, well, that's the whole idea. If you want to sell hamburgers.
I mean, I can't see how one frame of a hamburger going by so fast. How's that going to make anybody hungry?
The thing is, Lieutenant, that the subliminal cut isn't used just once. Now, you can work that into a film in a dozen places. Yet it has a cumulative effect in the viewer's subconscious.
Subliminal cuts. Who ever heard of a subliminal cut? You took one frame. Was it one frame?
Yes.
of a picture of buttered popcorn and cut it into the middle of a movie, and it went by so fast that everybody in the audience watching the movie, they never saw it. But all of a sudden, everybody in the theater, they wanted to eat popcorn.
That's the way it works.
I'll be a son of a...
So when it's time for them to develop that thing or you know, give it to us, we're already used to it. They really don't got to do too much work because they've been doing the work already. So that's why we have to understand that the enemy knows how our mind works. He knows how the body works. He knows how, you know, how the subliminal messaging works. So that's why when the Bible talks about be transformed by the renewing of your mind, it's deeper than just a physical thing. It's a spiritual thing too, you know?
Yep.
So, you
like,
know.
This kind of conditioning, because of what the Word of God teaches us, like not to be so connected to the world, right? Yeah. We shouldn't be all in the movies. We shouldn't be all in the news. And so by default, we shouldn't be falling for the nonsense.
Right.
All of this content is made for the people of the world, so that they're all under the sway of Satan.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Whereas we should be unplugged and free. But we keep our ear to the ground. We're seeing the things that are going on.
Right.
But the Lord gives us this discernment to be able to break it down.
Absolutely.
Oh, this is what's happening.
Right. He wants us to understand the devices of the enemy and his wicked schemes, you know, and that comes with, like you said, discernment. It comes with testing the spirits and just, you know, doing things like that. So yeah, we spoke about the propaganda, the hired actors, and so like when we talk about the crisis actors in the Hollywood film, so in this movie, like I said, they hired this woman. They had her basically in their Hollywood film, and she plays a role that with the green screen that she's caught up in this war in Albania. And this is all technology they're using. So if you're looking at it from the TV, you think that she's actually there. But no, this is all done in a Hollywood studio with green screen. They even got to the point, and keep in mind, this is 1997, where in a movie where she was holding originally a bag of chips, like running through the field that she was at or whatever. And they were like, that doesn't seem too emotional. We need something more that'll captivate the audience. And they was like, all right, let's switch the bag of chips to a cat. They were able to, with the technology they use, with the CGI, they were actually able to do it right there on the spot. So the bag of chips changed into a cat. You know what I mean?
What it was, the director always wanted a cat. But they couldn't get the cat. So they had to improv. So they gave her something to hold and then turned that into a cat.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It was Kirsten Dunst is the actress.
Nice. Yep. And it just goes to show you that technology, they're able to do that right there on the spot. So with the technology, especially now, you may be watching what you think is a live show or a live event. And with the technology they got, they may be able to do some stuff right there on the spot where you might think it's real, you know? And I thought actually with that thing too, one of the things that that caught me when the actress, the crisis actor, she was basically saying, well, what'll happen if I don't keep this under the wraps? Right. And
so you can't tell anybody. She's like, well, what happens if I do?
When this goes national, I get to put it on my resume?
Actually, no.
Because, like, what is it, a guild thing or something? I mean...
You can never tell anyone you did this.
What could they do to me?
They come home to your house and kill you.
Before we go forward with the episode, I just want to touch on Anne Hesh, who is the actress seen here in this picture, who is Ellen DeGeneres' ex-girlfriend, who died after a car accident in 2022. There was a video going around of her exposing Ellen DeGeneres, saying a lot of things, and mysteriously after that, she ended up dead. As you can see in the video, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. And it just goes to show that it's on the same topic of what we were just talking about in this movie, Wag the Dog. How, if you don't keep your mouth shut, there are consequences. Let me show you that clip, and then we'll get back to the episode.
When I told Ellen that I needed to have friends, she said she did not want to have a girlfriend that needed that. And that is the day I left. Why do you think she tried to put me in an institution, folks? I called my mother. Guess what? 2 people who wanted more than anything to have my truth buried. It was not my time.
Heche was just starting to expose her ex-girlfriend Ellen DeGeneres when she died in a bizarre car crash. The toxicology report showed she was sober. And when they pulled her from the wreckage, she wasn't dead. She was trying to get off the stretcher.
Anne Heche has died. Her vehicle ran off the road at a high rate of speed and collided into a house in LA last Friday.
But what's even scarier than this video of Ann struggling to get away is what happened just weeks before she died. Ann was talking to Ellen's DJ Twitch, and she warned him to watch his back. But next thing you know, just 4 months after Ann's fatal car crash, Twitch dies too. He supposedly took his own life just days before Christmas. No warning, no note, just walked from his home one morning and was found dead hours later in a nearby motel.
Twitch checked into a motel less than a mile away from his home Monday morning. They said motel staffers said that he didn't appear to be in any sort of distress and wasn't visibly upset about anything, and apparently no one heard the gunshot.
So what are the odds of two people who were close to Ellen dying under sketchy circumstances just months apart? Well, we finally got some answers from this shocking interview with Ann Heche that just resurfaced. She talks about Ellen being obsessed with money, banning her from having any friends, ruining her career, and even trying to put her in a mental hospital. But that's not all. Ann was also allegedly working on a documentary about some disturbing rituals Hollywood celebs use to stay young. So did Ann and Twitch both know something dark about Ellen? And what was really behind that last conversation where Ann told Twitch to watch his back? All right, let's talk about his interview that just resurfaced. Now keep in mind that Ann spent over 2 decades trying to find someone who would listen to her, but because of Ellen's power in Hollywood, no one wanted to work with Ann, and there was a vicious campaign for years to paint her as crazy or an addict. To be clear, Ann did struggle with substance use, but after everything Ellen put her through, it's clear she was self-medicating. So what did Ellen do to her exactly? Well, in June 2021, just a year before her death, Ann finally exposed Ellen during an episode of her podcast, Better with Ann and Heather. And this episode aired shortly after Ann learned Ellen had banned Ann from appearing on the Ellen talk show, which meant studios often didn't hire Ann, as it would limit the promotion of the project. So Ann claimed that Ellen tormented her for years, blacklisted her in Hollywood, and even conspired with her mother to put her in an institution.
And that just goes to show you that in this world, in that world, that's what happens. When you're part of something so big, you need to keep your mouth shut. And if you don't, there's consequences that follow. So that's why you see, when you see, like, even in the music industry or in Hollywood, when you have those people who are trying to break free and then they start to expose the system that they were a part of, what always happens to them? They either end up in jail for taxes or rape or this or that, or they end up crazy in the mental hospitals, or they end up dead. You know, because these people in charge know that they are sworn to secrecy, and they have to keep these things under the wraps in order for their agenda to keep pushing forward.
Right.
And if you're a part of that and you don't keep your mouth shut, they'll get rid of you.
Right.
Straight
So
up.
what happens is because you have destroyed the integrity of their story, now they have to destroy your integrity.
Right. Absolutely.
They have to now turn the focus on you and make you out to be the bad guy.
Right.
It's essentially, and that's also part of that playbook.
Absolutely.
You know, so.
Absolutely. And it has been going on for a long time, bro, because at the end of the day, if you're part of a team, you know the team's secrets. If you choose to leave that team, you leave with a lot of information that they don't want out. So in order for them to protect that information, they got to get rid of you.
They destroy your credibility.
Absolutely.
So that even if you do go out and speak any which way, they're just like, you're going to listen to this crazy?
Exactly.
You're going to listen to this guy who did this, and this, cheats on his wife. You know, he's a thief. He's been doing this in the background. He's a pedophile. Whatever things they could pull out on you.
And then that way, nobody believes you anyway. So you could be out there telling the truth, but like you said, your credibility is shot. So I think that was an important point when I was watching that movie. I'm like, that's just exactly what happens, bro. So we're gonna move forward. So now we got that. We got the crisis actor, the Hollywood studio, the CGI, the technology they're using on the spot. Now it's time for the media to push it out to the world. So now they start to hire these news outlets to push the story. It comes out on all the news medias. They're really promoting this. Oh, this war in Albania, da 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 da.
And this just in, a Newsbreak special report from the Albanian front. We've just received information that the young Albanian national fleeing in this video is attempting to escape terrorist reprisals in her village. America has seldom witnessed a more poignant picture of the human race than that which armed conflict.
Fantastic. So now the world is taking heed to this, and it's like, oh snap, we're going to war now. So now they have the whole world glued to the TV, believing this narrative that this war is going on. So just jump on it, Jay. Stuff that happens right now. You know what I mean? Or
well, think about this, right? From the movie's perspective, when Robert De Niro first gets on the scene, he then starts talking about how they have to begin to cover the president's story up, right? So they start denying allegations to things that don't even exist. So it's like, so when you're talking to somebody, you know, to mention like a B-3 bomber, but deny the existence of a B-3 bomber.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Pour him on a plane to Seattle right away. He's all flustered and nervous to talk to the Boeing people.
Right, do it.
But what?
But there isn't a B-3 bomb.
Where did you go to school, kid?
Right.
But just so that you can create this thing in the media that like people are talking about B-3 bomber.
Right.
There's a rumor about it that you're denying, which puts a light bulb in these people's heads. You know, so things like that where they'll start to create this buzz for things that don't even
exist, bro. It's not real.
Just in order to give you something that's gonna shadow the other story. Let me put this in your face so that you won't pay attention to this so much.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
and to touch on that too, how these people are all connected. So these higher ups, the spin doctors with the presidents, with the government, they are all teamed up with the media, with the news stations, with the radio stations. And once they send a message down to that person in charge of this media, this radio station, okay, oh, we got the message. This is what we're doing. Start pushing it out. You know what I mean? And that's how they feed it to the world, because they're all on one accord with each other, you know?
Yep.
How close are you to this thing?
What do you want the kid to say?
Problematic situation, at least. And we will keep you apprised of any new information regarding those groups. At this time, there is no information about...
Have them say, I know we're all concerned for the president. I'm sure that our hopes and prayers are with him.
Could you have Levy say, I know we're all concerned for the president. I'm sure our hopes and prayers are with him. Thanks.
I just want to say that I know that we are all concerned for the president, and that our hopes and prayers are with him.
Right.
Now, really quick, let's get into the part where they actually hire Dustin Hoffman as the producer of all this. So we got the war, we got the fake war, we got the technology, we got the Hollywood studio. What's a Hollywood studio without a producer?
Right.
So they hired Dustin Hoffman, who's going to be the one to come in and actually create this movie. And he's actually creating a movie because that's his profession.
Okay. And you want me to do what?
We want you to produce.
You want me to produce your war?
Not a war. It's a pageant. We need a theme, a song, some visuals. We need, it's a pageant. It's like the Oscars. That's why we came to you.
I never won an Oscar.
And it's a damn shame you didn't. But you produced the Oscars.
Yes, indeed I did.
Dustin Hoffman in the movie, he's well respected. This is why they hired him. And he goes through so many lengths, man, to put this together perfectly, Jay. Like, he's like, okay, this is what we need to do. We need to get this. We need to get this. This is how we're going to sway the emotions of the people. And he's doing his producing job, and he's doing well.
And it's funny because Robert De Niro already knew they needed the buzz of a war that was going to give them enough time to cover the president,
Absolutely.
Right? When they present this idea to Dustin, they don't tell him what they're thinking. But they're like, this will cover you. Dustin's like, what you've done right now will cover you for 2 days.
Yeah.
But it's not going to give you 11 days.
We got to keep it going.
We got to keep it going. So he's like, you'll need a war.
Right.
You bought yourself 1 day, maybe 2.
String a few together. All I need is 11 till the election.
How are you going to stretch it? This isn't going to hold for 11 days. The guy fucked a Girl Scout.
A Firefly girl.
Guy fucked a Firefly girl. I mean, what are you going to do to hold that off? Excuse me. I just want to get my veggie shake here.
What do you think would hold it off, Mr. Moss?
Nothing. I mean, you'd have to have a war.
And he just brings it out there, and Robert De Niro looks at his associate like, see, that's what we need. We need a war.
Right.
And so that's when they start to brainstorm about the war and go in with that. And it's just interesting how, again, like the spirit of that playbook in these shiesty people, right? They're brainstorming, and all the ways that they can lie
it's crazy.
are just like boom, but they're in common.
Right.
These are things that they've seen before, they've done before. They know, well, what can take the attention of the public off of the president raping a little girl? We need a war, and that'll take the attention of everybody.
And that's why when we say that the world is a stage, this is what we mean. It's literally a stage. I know everybody says it so people get tired of hearing it, but it's real. The world is really a stage with actors and producers and
A playbook,
straight up,
step by step guide to how to trick you into believing anything.
Absolutely,
it's crazy.
Bro. Absolutely, yep. So we got that, and one of the things that Dustin Hoffman, who was the producer, he was like, we got to create basically. We gotta connect with the audience and bring their emotions into all this. So one of the things that they do is they hired Willie Nelson, the country singer from back in the day. And they actually was like, we got to put a theme song together. So they went, it's crazy how they go step by step, bro, to manipulate us. They put together, Willie Nelson's in charge of everything. He puts together a team of singers, you know what I mean, to produce this song. So they kind of already know where they're going with it. They already got the scheme. It's the war. So Willie Nelson writes the song, evolved around the war, comes up with the characters and everything, hires the singers, and like, this is what we got to do. This is what the song about. And they're like just sitting in the studio, man, for hours, coming up with this, singing this stuff, and putting together a real emotional song.
With courage and strength, our forefathers earned the right to be free. Now it's time to guard their dream. Guard our American borders. Guard the American dream. Guard our right to fight.
And when I'm looking at this part, it kind of remind me of, you know, the song back in the day, like, we are the world, we are the children, that got all the famous singers, and they put them together and made this song, and it creates this emotionalism to the world. Like when people are listening to this and they're putting it together with the children who are starving in Africa and America help and donate this, and it's all manipulation,
right?
All manipulation, bro. And you know how powerful music is. So why do you think the producer of the movie was like, we got to get the music involved, because the music is what's gonna move them emotionally,
right?
You know what I mean? Touch on that, Jay.
Yep. So I mean, again, just to look at how they chose a hero, right? Like, I think that's the part you're talking about, right?
Yep.
So like, they're like, yeah, we got the war now being sold to the people, but what does a war need? It needs a hero,
right?
Because they're still trying to buy more time. So now they got this hero who's been captured,
right?
You know, by the other side,
right?
And they're like, we need to get him back. So now they got everybody focused on that.
I mean, but before you go there, explain why they had to push it forward, because after all this was happening, now the government got involved and tried to shut the project down. You remember?
Yes.
The government was like, okay, we know there ain't no war in Albania. I got to shut this down. You know what I mean? So they were like, damn, how y'all going to shut down my movie? They were like, but Dustin Hoffman, the producer's like, nah, even though the war shut down, now we got to extend the movie.
Right.
This is where the hero comes in. So I just want to throw that in there.
Basically where he comes into his act 2. Right. So from his producing mind, he set up act 1 and he was like, okay, act 2. But Robert De Niro was like, we don't need an act 2. We just need enough time to do this.
Right.
But Dustin is like, act 2. Now we can bring that out.
Yeah.
No, the war isn't over. I saw it on TV. No, that's what they hired me for. No. The war isn't over till I say it's over, okay? This is my picture. This is not the CIA's picture. You think you're in a tight spot now, V? This is nothing. This is nothing. This is just Act 1, the war. Now we really do need an Act 2. So we work. Act 2.
You know what it's like?
What?
The Japanese.
What?
In the caves.
Go on.
Okinawa.
Go on.
They didn't believe the war was over.
That's right. So now we have a guy who doesn't believe. No. We have an American serviceman.
A brave American serviceman is left behind.
A hero. Oh my God, I can't believe this. What was I thinking? We had a war, we forgot the hero. You can't have a war and not have a hero.
And so now they get everyone focused on this war hero who's been captured.
Old Shoe.
And that's where the song comes in, you know? And again, like, to see these the level that these guys go to, they find another actor, you know, and it's kind of hilarious. Where you guys can watch the movie and enjoy the comedy of it, but see how the level they go to deceive you and trick you.
Yes.
So they get this guy, they record this song, and then they enter the song into the congressional library.
Crazy.
Right?
As if it's been there or something like that.
As if it's been there since forever, the 30s or whatever. Right.
Johnny?
Yeah, what is it?
The war is over, okay? Now we're going to need a new song. I think it should be a song about a shoe, a shiny shoe, a black patent shoe, a good old shoe. John, but I need a new song, okay? A good old shoe song. It should be a ballad of loss and you want to help me?
Redemption.
Loss and redemption is very, very good.
All right, here's a speech, President's speech. Put this in the Library of Congress right away. Folk music section 1930, right away, please. Get it in the stacks in the Library of Congress now.
They try to make it like it's an old song. They backdate it, and then they enter it into this congressional library.
Crazy.
So that you believe that, you know what, they're pulling this out of the they're wiping the dust off it when they're bringing it out.
Right.
And here's this old song.
Well, this is interesting. I have just been handed this, something just discovered, a 1930s recording, part of the folk song collection of the Library of Congress. And a fitting song, if I may say so, about Schumann. Schumann is the military soldier who's been left behind enemy lines.
And look at how well it fits the situation.
Scenario,
It's crazy.
Old shoe, right? Old shoe.
And so now everybody gets fired up to get shoe back, and they're even taking their old shoes and throwing them up in the trees.
They're creating merchandise and feeding that to the world, and this is like the world. Everybody's jumping on it because oh my God, he's the war hero that got kidnapped, and we finally found him, and we're bringing him back now. And the world is feeding off of this. They're like indulged in it.
You know what it reminds me of? And again, they didn't go this far during COVID time, but the issue with the toilet paper, you remember that?
Exactly,
where
bro.
There was there's gonna be a shortage on toilet paper. Make sure you get as much as you need. And had people going to the supermarkets fighting over toilet paper. You know what I mean?
Paper for sure.
And it just goes to show they're sitting there laughing because these the common person believes what they see on the news and goes out and tries to do whatever they say.
Right. Same thing even with the George Floyd situation, what that was going on. Everybody started going on one knee with the hands up in the air. That became a thing. It becomes like a slogan. And we know what slogan is, something like with words is something that you create with voice and everything, but also they're creating things like that so that the world starts to do it and it becomes a logo for the world.
It's an emblem.
It's an emblem, exactly. Like you said, with the toilet paper, everybody's going crazy with the toilet paper. Even with the Charlie Kirk situation, now there's a movement called We Are Charlie Kirk, where it's they're calling everybody, we are Charlie Kirk, and that's the slogan. That's the movement. And it goes to show, even in this movie, like you said, bro, they're going to the extent we're taking the hero's name is Old Shoe something, aka Old Shoe. So obviously they're using shoes as a logo for him, and they're taking shoes, tying them, throwing up into the cable lines, throwing into the trees. Even at a baseball game, I think it was a football game, they had all the people in the stands throwing all their shoes in the middle of the field. And it's everybody here is representing Old Shoe, come home Old Shoe. And it's just they're playing mind games with us. But we're saying that to show you that look at all the events that have been happening for years and how they come up with slogans and how they come up with logos, and we're just the whole world jumps on them, and these people are behind the scenes creating these things and looking at everybody it's working. It's playing with our emotions, So,
and again, the scripture tells us, they do what they do. They operate like Satan operates. Right? This world operates like Satan operates because Satan has them all under the sway.
Absolutely.
His means of operation is deception, right?
Absolutely.
And the scripture said that he'll get everyone in the world to believe a lie, right? And then he'll use the things of the world to support the lie. And keep it going, And so what transpires after that, man, is bugged out. Go
ahead. You
so with the actor that they chose to be Shoe, they messed up because the guy was an inmate. He was a prisoner,
a real prisoner,
right? And so they're like, well, we can't let this guy start talking at all, right? But the whole public, now the public is expecting to see Shu because we said we brought him home.
Yep. We said they're waiting for the landing.
Right? But we can't let the truth come out.
Right.
So even after they told the public they got him, they end up killing this guy anyway.
Right.
It's
and not only just telling the public that they got him, they were actually showing his pictures. So they already have a face. So they waiting for the hero to come home, the one who laid his life down for America. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's crazy too because with him it's like he was uncontrollable for a little bit because they was like, this guy's a real prisoner and he's on meds and we can't have him talk, so we got to still control the narrative. And I know something happened where their plane crashed or something, right?
They killed him.
Yeah, the plane. Well, the plane before they killed him, the plane crashed, and then they were like they ended up like in some farm somewhere, and it was just Dustin Hoffman. It was Robert De Niro. It was like their secretary woman, whoever she is, and then it was Old Shoe. And they're like, they ended up in like some farm guy's house. And the farm guy, before they got there, the farm guy has like a gas station. And he's watching the news. And he's watching, they just got into a plane crash. Old Shoe, the hero. We hope he's okay. But then what they told the president that, okay, even though the plane crash happened, he's still alive. So the world's like, okay, he's still alive. He survived the plane crash now. Oh my God. And he's supposed to be getting delivered here at this time, at this location. So they're like, okay, he's still here. We still have him. We got to deliver him to this location. But what happens is after the guy who owns the gas station is watching it on TV, he notices that it's him. You're like, what the heck is going on? So it's like, damn. We got this person who basically cracked the code. He knows who we are now, so we got to figure it out. So what happens is, I guess the gas station man has a daughter. And as they're all talking with each other, Old Shoe just dips away. They're just distracted talking. Old Shoe dips away and follows the daughter into the house. She gets scared and starts screaming. And the father was like, what's going on with my daughter? He grabs his shotgun. They follow him. They're like, no, don't kill him. Don't kill him. He goes into the room and kills Old Shoe, shoots him with the shotgun. So now they're like, what are we going to do now? The whole world is expecting Old Shoe, and now we don't have him no more. So what do? Like you said, Dustin Hoffman, he's best at spinning the narrative. He's like, okay, we can't use him now. So what we're going to say? We're just going to say that he died from something. They relate that to the media. Now, Old Shoe, the hero, he died. You know, so now instead of expecting him to come physically, now they're waiting for him to come in a casket with the American flag on it, and everybody's just embracing that, the old hero. So what do you want to say about that?
Wild stuff.
Crazy,
man.
Right?
Yeah, bro. And again, man, it just goes to show you don't know what to believe.
Yeah.
You know?
It goes to show that a mistake can happen, but they'll still find a plan B and a plan C and a plan D.
Oh, yeah. They have to keep the lie going.
Keep it going.
They'll use everything they can to keep it going. Because once you start, that's it.
But even with that, it's like with this whole situation, they done their job because the eyes got off of the president's scandal, and now look what he's done. He brought the hero back. He's this, even though the hero died, but look at what the president's done. And now everybody's in good grace with the president again, you know? And now we're basically at the end of it. Basically, that's just a rundown. But one of the things that I want to talk about is the producer who Dustin Hoffman plays. It got to a point where at the end of the movie, he's just really proud of the work that he's done. He's like, I put this masterpiece together. The whole world is enjoying my movie. And he's loving it because his whole, I think like the character he played is like his whole life, he's been really the main ones producing all these hit movies, but hasn't been getting the credit and recognition from it. Other people have been getting the credit and recognition for it. So he's at a point right now at this time in his life, he's like, I want the recognition this time. I want the credit for putting this whole thing together. And Robert De Niro was like, no, this needs to be under the wraps. The world don't need to know about this.
I want to call somebody up.
Stan, that's very funny.
I'm going to get these people straight.
Well, you can't do that, Stanley.
Watch me.
Listen, Stanley, you knew that. Stanley,
What?
I said, you knew the deal when you signed
Oh,
up.
come on. Deals change.
No. Let's read.
Sure it is. Art.
Money? Okay.
Money.
Money.
You think I did this for money? I did this for credit.
So elaborate on
This
that,
is just classified. Like,
Yeah.
So I think Dustin's character in the movie, he produces the awards.
Okay.
Right, for Hollywood.
Okay,
I don't know
that's
if it was
what it
like
was?
Academy or Emmys
Okay.
or Oscars or whatever. I forget
Something
which,
like that. But he
award.
was like the main one, but never got the credit he deserved
Right.
for putting all that stuff together.
But
Right.
that's what he was saying. Like he was talking about how producers, nobody knows what they do.
Yeah.
You know, they provide. They what are they doing for the set? They never really get the oohs and the ahs. They
Right.
just in the credits. They just in the credits.
Right.
So you know, Dustin would love to be able to take the credit for this work.
Yeah.
But has been told he can't.
Can't, right.
Because it's classified.
It's classified, and bro, they're not supposed to know that this was a freaking movie.
Right, exactly.
They're supposed to think this is real, and you already talking about you want to get the credit for this. Like, no.
Yep.
And what happens next? He's on some stuff like, no, y'all ain't shutting my mouth this time. I'm gonna let people know.
Well, here's the thing too. Like he sees that there's a couple knuckleheads on TV who are trying to take credit for some of his work.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And so he gets pissed off.
Yeah,
he's like, I'm
he's
not
like,
letting the world
Yeah,
the world think that these two did this crap.
You think I did this for money? I did this for credit.
But you always
For credit.
You always knew you couldn't take the credits.
That's one thing, but I'm not gonna stand here and let two from film school take it.
This is all me.
So he's like, no. I'm
Right.
going out there to go do it. And that's
Right.
when he walks outside. He's starting to head out to his car.
Yeah.
And gets pulled over.
But before that, before he goes to the car, Robert De Niro told him, he's like, do not do this.
Mhm.
Keep your mouth shut, because if you go out and do this, there's gonna be some repercussions that's gonna happen.
Yep.
And he's like, I don't care. I'm gonna do what I want.
Are you nuts? You're
Stanley,
nuts.
no fooling.
What?
You're playing with your life now.
Oh, my life. I want the credit.
So what happens? He walks to the car, Jay. The CIA agents basically yoke him up, put him in the car.
Yep.
What's next?
And turning to the Hollywood page, famed film producer Stanley R. Motz died suddenly of a massive heart attack while sunbathing poolside. Mr. Motz was 57 or 62 years old, depending on the bio.
The producer of this movie, who, if he would have just shut his mouth, would have been good.
Yep.
But he decided that he wanted to tell the truth and go out there and take credit for this production he put together. And they're like, that's not happening.
Yep.
But then again, the length that the elite are willing to go to, that even though you were part of the team, if you choose to go against the grain, we'll get rid of you. And in an instant,
Just like that.
just like that. And then it's already in the news how he was a good producer, came out with this movie, and but yeah, and it's crazy because they tell you sometimes these famous people are worth more dead, so they don't mind getting rid of you because the product is gonna blow up now.
Yep.
So I just thought that was an interesting movie, and it just goes to show. Like, and I'm looking at this, I'm just looking at these real live events that they've been pushing to us forever.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm looking at them like, this is what really goes on, bro. You
Yep.
know, because there's so many holes in these events that happen. Like, you could see it like, that don't make sense. That don't make sense. That don't make sense. You know? But when we start to understand that there's a real live producer, a real live team behind this, putting this together, you're able to be like, I see now.
Right.
You know? So
Yep.
I thought that was cool.
And I
man.
mean, the kind of tactics that they've been using, they've been doing this for such a long time. You know, there's movies about like Hollywood directors getting involved with the situation for World War II.
Yeah.
Right? Where they needed for the public to get involved with helping for this war.
Right.
And support for this war. And so what do? You know, to boost the morale of the people, to get everyone involved. They create these videos that shows like our military forces storming the beaches over there, you know, in the East, like going to war against Germany or landing over here, wherever the battle was at, you know, and really it's them on our shores with our artillery. You know, and acting like they're storming a beach in a foreign country,
bro.
you know, and then putting this on the news for everyone to gobble up. And it's like, look, guys, this is what we're doing. Look at our boys. They need your support. They need your help, and everybody's getting together, chipping in,
I
doing
think
their
that might
thing.
be the same one that I'm thinking. When did that situation happen? What year was
man,
that?
I
That was
couldn't
years
even tell
ago,
you. I
right?
gotta try to
Was that
remember
like
which
in the
movie it
90s or
is.
2000s or something like that?
When the movie came out, it might have been.
Oh, that's the movie you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
movie
okay.
I'm talking about. Well, no, when they actually did that was back in like 1945.
Oh,
you know what I'm
okay,
saying?
okay,
Like
okay.
when World War II was going on. I think it's from 41 to 45.
Oh, okay. So the one I'm thinking about is different. There was a one, I forgot what war it was, and they had like this whole, like you said, they were saying that they were on this foreign land, but they were really in the United States. Had to like set up like at a beach or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that, but they even had military tanks, but they were like made of rubber, but they looked real. Like you could just go knock it over, but it looked real. It was a real prop. You had the news reporter there while there's bombs going on back. He's like, oh, they're throwing bombs right now.
Now, again, as we said, we're not sure what caused this. It could possibly, and we emphasize possibly, have been a ground impact of a Scud. It could have been a ground impact of the Patriot, or it could have been the result of debris falling between the two of them. We just don't know right now, but we do know that at least 2 Scud missiles incoming were fired at Riyadh, and according to the Saudi military, they were both shot down. Charles Jaco, CNN, reporting live from Saudi Arabia. Oh. Woof. Woof. Oh, I love this country so much.
You guys just don't have a clue.
Well, Cheryl, it was almost exactly 2 hours ago when the sirens went off here in Saudi Arabia. Where we are in eastern Saudi Arabia, there was no problem. Now, let me just size my mask and fit it for a second, just like I always do. Stand by, please. All clear. What are they saying? Are they saying all clear? Yes, ma'am. Were they saying all clear down there just now? All clear. All clear. Está bien was a false alarm. Got that, Atlanta? Every time I order something, this happens. All clear. Thank you.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I'm starting to get real bothered by all this. Boy, did I almost look stupid. Charles Jaco, CNN, reporting live from Saudi Arabia. A couple of explosions, what may have been an outgoing Patriot ground-to-air missile, some reported airbursts that may have been an intercept of an incoming Scud missile. We're really not sure. All we know is that the air raid sirens have gone off, and we've heard the outgoing roar of at least one Patriot missile. We've heard some sort of airburst. We can't tell where it was from where we are right now. We're waiting to see what's happening. As you can hear, the air raid sirens are still going off around us. People are, strangely enough, used to it. This is the first one of these attacks that's taken place early in the morning, but they're not showing you anything other than what we got now. What did you see there? Is that a missile going out? We're not quite sure. We can't show you anything else than what we're seeing right now. And frankly, this is what we can show you on television right now because of military restrictions from both the Saudis and the U.S.
CD, if you need to take cover, I notice that you've got your gas mask in your hands. If you need to put it on, please do so. If you need to take cover, please do so. If you are able to take a question, did you think that the possible threat would be over because it is now morning there? It's what, just after 6 o'clock in the morning?
The whole thing is everyone assumed that the threat would be over because it was early morning. But the thing about Saddam Hussein is that he has never done the expected. And right now we have, once again been surprised with the unexpected, an air raid, an apparent attack, although we can't say what the outgoing missiles hit during the daylight hours. Now that sound you hear behind me is the hotel. Richard Thicker. It's not the national by afternoon. So people are looking up in the skies, scanning the skies to see what they can see. Do we see much of anything out there? Can we see much of anything? Okay. Well, apparently there was some word of outgoing. Again, we cannot be specific about the direction. All right, we are now led to understand that there are also firings in another city in Saudi Arabia. CNN's Carl Rochelle is here with me, just came up. Carl, I know we can't be very specific given these restrictions, but within those parameters, what did you see?
Well, what I saw, I didn't see anything hit. I looked almost straight above us. There was a vapor trail coming from my right to my left, and there's a cloud of something. It looks like it might have been an explosion, a cloud. I'd say my apologies for please putting on a gas mask. There hasn't been any gas dropped here.
But it was all staged.
Yeah.
You know, it was all staged. And I'm looking at this stuff like, wow, this is crazy. And I go back to things like the Sandy Hook event. Remember the Sandy Hook shooting back in the day? I think this was like early 2000s, where the kids went and shot up the elementary school in Sandy Hook. So I bring that up because during that time there was like all these parents of the victims, giving interviews and stuff like that.
I remember that.
And there was this one guy, I forgot his name, some white guy. He had kind of like blondish hair. He's about to do the interview on live news, but I guess they cut the cameras early. So before they were supposed to be recording, they were already recording, and you see him just talking, laughing, having a good old time, like just laughing, smiling, and then they were like, okay, we're about to record. He's like,
and then he gets into drama mode.
Then he
right?
gets into his acting mode, starts crying, and my son or my daughter, da 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 da. And it was crazy to see this stuff. And I'm like, come on, bro.
Robbie Parker, I assume he's going to come out to the microphones now and make a statement. Looks like the family is there, and they're getting ready to make to come to the microphone. So we'll listen up.
Okay. So my name's Robbie Parker. My family is one of the families that lost a child yesterday in the Sandy Hook Elementary School shootings here in Connecticut.
I'm like, if this is not one of those ones where it makes you think, is like I don't want to hear that. Oh, everybody mourns differently. Like you had this man just chilling, laughing, like, no, what's going on? 1 second. Then when it was action, then he starts getting in his mode,
Character,
right?
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then now I'm bringing that up too because with this whole Charlie Kirk situation, they were interviewing people too, like after he got shot, like outside, like a little while after he got shot. They were interviewing one girl. She was like, I don't know, it just looked fake. It just looked fake. Then they had another guy who started crying, but it looked exactly like the Sandy Hook guy. I gotta show you this. I gotta show you this. He looked a little skinnier, maybe a little older, but it looked exactly like him. I'm not saying it is 100% him, but
That's
it
how
looked
they
a little
do it, though.
fishy.
You know, years go by.
Yeah,
Change
I'm
a
like,
little
bro, they look like the same guy. You know what I'm saying?
And I have to wonder if the FBI wants it deleted because he caught an angle of this character on camera. His name is Skylar Baird. And weirdly, there were Google search spikes of his name coming from Tel Aviv, Haifa, and Washington, D.C. before September 10th. But now Google Trends has scrubbed that data. Skylar kept very close proximity to Charlie's security guard before the TPUSA event when they were pushed up against the wall, and during the event when they both were front row. Skylar's Facebook shows that he was dropping out of helicopters for the Coast Guard in 2018. But now he's claiming to just be a digital content creator, even though he only has 7 posts, 5 of which were after the Charlie Kirk assassination. But he somehow got a floor press pass to the memorial. He was the guy that mainstream media interviewed over 7 times, each time saying the exact same thing.
Watch the video for like 10. It's like maybe 10 or 15 feet away when it happened.
So where did this guy come from? Why was his name searched before the assassination? So what do you think is going on? Is Skylar just an innocent witness that happens to have a background in government uniformed services? Or is it possible that he's a part of some sort of a conspiracy?
So you know the kid who was asking Charlie Kirk a question when Charlie got shot? Remember him? Everyone's feeling bad for him? Yeah, there's video footage of him practicing his reaction before it happened. So when Charlie got shot, his reaction was to put his hands on his head, look shocked, shake a little bit. Yeah. He was doing that. He was practicing that in the crowd. And here's the freaking video.
Another thing too, like even when Donald Trump, when he got shot, there was a part that I saw this part like a little, like probably a month after, and I'm like, oh, nobody caught that, but this whoever showed the video caught it. Like after he got shot, you know that picture of him with the arm up, and it was like the perfect picture, bro. Like fight.
Yeah.
As it was happening, they show one of his security details. Everybody's going crazy after the shooting. They show one of his security detail, I believe it was a security or somebody else, go get the photographer, place the photographer right in the perfect position, right where Donald Trump was, and had him take that picture and had as Donald Trump did it, bro.
Wow.
And it was so scripted, bro. Like, how do you get a perfect picture like that? Because they knew what was going to happen and everybody was in place already.
Right. He's going to get up now. Get
Exactly.
this guy
And,
right
you see the guy grab him, bring the camera guy there, and just boom, got the perfect shot. Because that was a perfect shot.
Take the picture.
Yeah.
When there's a shooter out there, take the
Exactly.
picture.
You
Give me
feel
a
what I'm
break.
saying? Like, come on.
This new angle of the Trump assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania is absolutely wild. So the first thing you're going to see in this clip is the guy on Trump's team go to rush to get the photographer. This is right after it happened, by the way. Take a look at this.
He's been shot. Oh no. Either that or they're covering. We don't know. Either that or they're covering it. We love you. We love you, President Trump. We love you. We love
This is unreal.
you, President Trump. We love you.
Are you serious? So right after there are gunshots fired at a campaign event, Trump's team's first reaction is to go get the photographers, and then they line them up with the camera, and then they lower the flag in the background so they could get their little picture for their campaign event.
And one more before I let this one go. Even I think it was during, when was it that all those people invaded the White House? That they ran through the doors of the White House and everything, and that this was a big thing that was going on. And all these people, because it was like all Trump supporters. All these Trump supporters, these Republicans were protesting outside, and then they ran into the White House, broke the doors down and ran in. And we only got one side of the image of what happened. We just seen them people in the White House.
Right.
But then a couple of days later, it showed the vision from the opposite side of the door, where the police officers were there, and they were all lined up, all the people just chilling, waiting. The police officers, okay, and then they opened the door for everybody to just barge in. You know, so just
That's
little
wild.
things like that. And some
caught them in the foyer.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting peanuts and water. You know,
some people are like, no, it's because the security, the police officers knew that there were so many. So instead, I'm like, nah, come on, that wasn't the story. The story was like they just ransacked everything. So when you put these things together and start to pay attention, like when we see things, they get rid of the fourth wall. Shows like Martin and Saved by the Bell, the audience is live. They're laughing and stuff, but we only see the three sides of it. You know?
Tell you what though, you know, every person who took part in that had to sign some paperwork, right?
Right.
Their little security clearance and a disclaimer or whatever. None of them could talk about it.
None of them could talk about it. It's like old girl and Wag the Dog.
But they know.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. Like, there, you know, you could imagine the kind of people that they get. It could be related to governmental people,
bro.
you know, who, however they get these people.
Yep.
And now they know that a lot of the news media is bogus.
Straight
you know,
up.
when you do your research on the news companies, you know, they're all in cahoots.
All in cahoots.
They're all in cahoots with each other.
All in cahoots.
Owned by family members of family members, and they have their families running them.
Exactly. That's
nieces,
why
nephews, cousins, uncles.
That's why all these presidents, actors, and musicians, they're all related. Oh, this is the second cousin of Obama. You'd be like, no freaking way. Because they keep everything in the bloodline.
That's how it goes.
When you understand that, how Satan works, everything in his bloodline. And all he does is copy what Jesus did. You know, like Jesus' bloodline all the way from Adam down to Abraham, down to Isaac, Jacob, down that bloodline. Satan does the same thing. He has his bloodline, and this bloodline happens to be the ones that are in charge of the world. You know. So yeah, man. So I just thought that was an interesting thing, Jay. I think this is good. I think we should make this like a series that we do. Not that we do it back to back, but make we'll grab different movies and we give our spiritual aspect on them. You know what I mean? And just
and just to give you guys a good list of movies that you could watch that show you more of what's going on behind the scenes and the way that we're manipulated. You could watch Kill the Messenger.
Yep.
You can watch American Made. You can watch Focus. You know, this one here, you know, make sure you guys watch these movies and understand that the script is not just fantasy.
Right.
It's not made up. It's not a work of fiction entirely. Right. Obviously, there are things that are made up to add ooh and ah to the movie. But for the most part, what you're seeing is all based on true things.
Absolutely.
True methods.
Right.
True step-by-step procedure.
Absolutely.
You know, so
one of those movies that there's two movies I wanted to touch on. It's They Live and The Truman Show. Both of those movies we got to touch on and you know, intertwine it with what the reality is of those things. Guys, so we hope you enjoyed this episode today. As we already stated, Brother Junie couldn't make it today, so it's me and Jay, and we're going to continue to do this segment right here. So guys, just keep your eyes open, and like I just brought up that movie, The Truman Show and They Live. And They Live, Roddy Piper was the main character in that movie. And when he passed away, Roddy Piper said that They Live is not a movie, it's a documentary. A lot of people are saying that he was coming out and exposing things and, you know, mysteriously end up dying. But anyway, we just want to show you guys that these are the lengths that the elite and the people in charge are willing to go. Satan is the god of this world, you know, and he's swaying everybody. He has everybody believing in all his deceptions. And one of the tools that he uses is television, paid programming. And as we stated before, he has to tell you what he's going to do before he does it. So when you guys watch these movies, no matter how crazy they seem, look at all of those movies as documentaries. You want to know one of Satan's tactics? Look at what he does in Hollywood, what he shows you in Hollywood. Because most of the time, those things are true. And I believe that those are one of the things that God has opened our eyes to when we watch these movies. We don't just watch them for entertainment purposes. We watch them for educational purposes, you know? So, again, this movie is called Wag the Dog with Robert De Niro, Dustin Hoffman. It came out in 1997. I suggest you guys watch that movie so that you guys could get a better understanding of what's going on. And what really motivated me to want to do this too with the brother was the Charlie Kirk event, the things that happened in the past with COVID, the things that happened in the past with George Floyd. And it just gave me a better understanding. Although I knew it, it just gave me a better understanding of how detailed that these people are and what they're willing to go through in order to make their movie happen and be successful. So again, you can find us on all major platforms at U.G.L.Yeshua. Make sure you put the pressure on that like button, say what you say in the comments, and make sure you hit that notification, share, and subscribe button so that you can come fellowship with us every time we drop something new. My personal handle on Instagram, Facebook is Darius JCITB TV Giles. All truth is important because the truth will set you free. All truth leads to Christ. Yeshua said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Until next time, big blessings.
You know what else I wanted to mention real quick too? Jordan Peele's movies. Like
we'll touch on
him,
his joints.
right? Him will show you this kind of thing going on too.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You know, and so you know, you got his movies, Get Out, Us.
That was a good one. And Us. Those two?
Nope. And him.
Yeah, we might have to do it either Get Out or Nope.
Yeah,
we'll put those in the arsenal, bro, for sure.
I like all of them.
Me too. Have to tell, we'll probably touch on both of them then, all three of them, whatever.
Word,
absolutely.
Down. Anyway, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance toward you and give you peace. God bless y'all.